Today's Saturday, November 30. It's a little after 5 o'clock. Came out to check the sky. It doesn't look particularly good, so I won't do the NGC series, but I'm planning on doing it. I'm going to tour the 700 to 1000 galaxies and clusters and whatever else turns up. And as it turns out, we have a Venus, which you can now see in the camera. And I will show it to you in the scope. Not much of a view, but at least you get a sense of its presentation. Looks like it's gibbous, maybe slightly less than gibbous. Let's go take a look. Coming up on the scope. I'll go ahead and just hold the camera. I'm going to take it back inside because otherwise battery will run down a little bit. So there's our Venus. It's probably some 40 degrees from the sun right now. It's a handheld look, and we'll be back out later on this evening, maybe around 7:30, for a tour of the NGC sample tour of the NGC 700-1000 series in the new general catalog. Well, here we go. What you're seeing before you now is Hamal Alpha Aridus, and it is in the part of the sky. It's just entered the middle third. We are going to track down, I'm going to hold myself to this, 12.0 and brighter studies. So if it's not 12.0, if it's 12.1, forget it. We're going to do what we can between NGC 700 and 1000. So here we're about to head out. NGC 718 is a galaxy in Pisces, should appear somewhere close to that last ghostly image of Hamal, and I do believe it's to the left, about 9:15 position. NGC 718 is a galaxy in Pisces, magnitude 11.7, 2.3 by 2.2 arc minutes, spiral with a bar in lowercase a. 77 million light years distant means this is probably somewhere around 50,000 light years in diameter. It has a right ascension of 1 hour 53 minutes and 13 seconds and a positive declination of plus 4 degrees 11 minutes 43 seconds. Let's allow it to develop as I search out our next 12. Oh wow, I only had to go to NGC 720. Let's move on. All right, as we survey this series, keep in mind there's quite a bit of atmospheric water up there. There were some high thin clouds, so we're probably going to lose a magnitude to a magnitude and a half. And the only reason I may break with my 12th magnitude limit is that I want to see galaxies in the 15th to 16.5 magnitude range just to check the seeing. What we're seeing here is NGC 720, a galaxy in Cetus, magnitude 10.2. 4.4 by 2.2 arc minutes, a perfect 2:1 aspect ratio galaxy. It's an elliptical class 4, which means it's highly football shaped. 81 million light years distant, puts it at about 100,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 1 hour 53 minutes and no seconds, with a declination of minus 13 degrees 44 minutes and 19 seconds. And because both of the last two studies ended off a little bit to the left of the screen, I am going to resynchronize the scope before moving on. And you can see where NGC 720 ended up on the screen, and that's where you may be wanting to look, in that roughly about a quarter-sized area, in that area of the screen throughout the rest of the evening. All right, let's watch this one develop. It's NGC 738, a 15th plus magnitude galaxy. This is a test of the seeing conditions, breaking my overall otherwise rule. There is a brightish galaxy there. It's probably 13th magnitude. That's not what we're looking for. Let me give you the data on NGC 738. We are in the sky's middle third, because we are in triangulum. We're probably about 30 degrees north. NGC 738 is a galaxy in triangulum, magnitude 15.5. Now keep in mind, That could be the blue-violet, and therefore, as a lenticular spiral, the galaxy itself is magnitude 14.5. Oh well. 203 million light years distant. Small, 0.4 by 0.2 arc minutes, which means it'll have a pretty high surface brightness for a 15.5 magnitude galaxy. And it is actually quite tiny too, probably somewhere around 25,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 1 hour 56 minutes 45 seconds with a declination of plus 33 degrees 3 minutes and 31 seconds. We'll have to check it out tomorrow. I do believe it is that fainter galaxy next to the brighter one right there. What you're seeing on the screen is NGC741. Let it develop for over the next 20 or 30 seconds. It's a galaxy in Pisces, the fishes. Magnitude 11.1, a perfect 3 by 3 arc minute size galaxy, 1:1 aspect ratio, elliptical class 1, which means almost defined as a perfect sphere. The galaxy is 248 million light years distant, putting it about 175,000 light years in diameter. It does have a brightish neighbor and a fainter one off to the left, forming like a almost a Pythagorean triangle. We're at right ascension 1 hour 56 minutes 21 seconds with a declination of plus 5 degrees 37 minutes and 43 seconds. We are viewing through the sky's middle third. Our next study is NGC 750, again, another galaxy in Triangulum. Just cuts magnitude 11.9, so it's within the bounds of our parameters for the evening, with a few exceptions. 1.6 by 1.3 arc minutes in size, so relatively small. It's an elliptical class 1, 233 million light years distant, which equates to maybe something around 120,000 light years in diameter. This galaxy, NGC 750, has a fairly bright neighbor very close to it, but I don't think we'll be imaging it this evening. It's probably somewhere about magnitude 12.5 or so. NGC 750 is an elliptical class 1, 233 million light years distant, with a right ascension of 1 hour 57 minutes 32 seconds and a declination of plus 33 degrees 12 minutes 23 seconds. Okay, taking a break from galaxies. What we're seeing here is NGC 752, open cluster in Andromeda. Quite bright, magnitude 5.7, quite large, 50 arc minutes. There are some 60 stars, and the brightest of which are magnitude 9. It is a class 3-1, which means the stars are pretty disparately spaced out, but regularly, they all look pretty much the same magnitude, don't they, for the most part. 1,500 light years distant. We're at right ascension 1 hour 57 minutes 41 seconds with a declination of plus 37 degrees 47 minutes and 6 seconds. Say goodbye for the time being to NGC 752. This should be a fine galaxy. It's NGC 772, almost Messier quality. It's a galaxy in Aretus, magnitude 10.3, 7.5 by 4.3 arc minutes spiral with a lowercase b, 110 million light years distant, so relatively close, which means this baby is probably about 250,000 light years in diameter. You're seeing the core, you're seeing extensions, there seems to be a little bit of brightening to the 5:30 position. Wow, what a nice view. I'll allow it to continue to develop. We're at right ascension 1 hour 59 minutes 19 seconds with a declination of plus 19 degrees and 28 seconds. I'll allow it to continue to develop as we search for our next study. Oh, I'm seeing some 12th magnitudes with rings, but I promised I'm not going to do them. Oh, NGC 777. Let's go there next. Well, here we have NGC 777, Galaxy in Triangulum. Magnitude 11.4, 2.8 by 2.2 arc minutes. Kind of sounds like a military jet overhead, not transport. This is an elliptical 1, 228 million light years distant. Means it's about 160,000 light years in diameter, as large, if not larger, than Messier 31. It's at right ascension 2 hours, 0 minutes, and 14 seconds. Its declination is plus 31 degrees, 25 minutes, and 46 seconds, and it's well placed in the sky's middle third and is giving a rather brightish presentation, isn't it? Well, I was figuring on average that we wouldn't find a 12.0 or brighter magnitude galaxy, maybe 1 in every 10 NGCs, but boy, this is NGC700-799, another galaxy in Cetus presenting some beautiful extension. Its magnitude 11.2, 4.1 by 1.2 arc minutes, so about a 3.5 to 1 ratio of length to width, and it sure does give a great sense of frontier, core, spiral extensions, etc. This spiral with a bar, lowercase b, twice removed from the lenticular is 61 million light years distant. It's probably somewhere around 80,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 42 seconds, so we're a little more westbound than the last galaxy, which is interesting. And a declination of minus 5 degrees, 57 minutes, and 51 seconds. I'll continue to develop as I move forward. Here's a 12.1 at 783, but we're not going there. 11.7 NGC784. Let's stop there next. NGC784 is another galaxy in triangulum, magnitude 11.7, very large, and a nice aspect ratio, about 4 to 1. But in looking at it, you gotta assume it's a fairly immature galaxy. There's no brilliancy to its core. This is a magnitude 11.7, as I said, 6.6 by 1.6 arc minutes. Spiral with a bar, but it's class D, which is 4 times removed from lenticular. This baby has a lot of maturation ahead of it, a great deal of star formation, and its brightest stars are all in the OBA class. And so that's why it gives kind of a pixelated appearance, doesn't it? But who knows? We're at 15 million light years. It's not that large, maybe about 30,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 2 hours, 1 minute, 17 seconds with a nice northerly declination of 28 degrees, 50 minutes, and 14 seconds. I would assume that every galaxy brighter than magnitude 12 should be viewable at the eyepiece at 2 millimeters exit pupil through a 6-inch scope on a very good night of seeing, but this one could prove elusive because it has no real brilliance to any part of its presentation. All right, with that 1 bar left on the camera, we're going to watch Messier 74, that galaxy in Pisces, formulate on the screen. I'll give you the data. Messier 74. I will include this in every video I put out that breaks down this this sampler for a while over the next couple of weeks. This is Messier 74. It's a galaxy in Pisces, magnitude 9.4, 10 by 9.4 arc minutes, 35 million light years distant, puts it about 100,000 light years in diameter. We're at right ascension 1 hour, 36 minutes, 41 seconds, with a declination of plus 15 degrees, 46 minutes, and 58 seconds. I am going to allow it to develop a little bit, and I'm going to say Carpe Noctem now, just in case the camera decides it wants to shut itself down because I'm not feeding it enough electricity. So let's watch this baby develop, see if we can turn up its spiralicity and its spiral arms. Nice, relatively face-on galaxy, a mere 35 million light years distant, well outside the bounds of the local group, by the way, which only goes out about 10 million light years. This one's 35. I don't know the NGC designation, so I can't give you the class, but we can look at it and say it's got a brightish core with some extension. It might be slightly barred. The spiral arms are really spiraling quite well. I don't know if it's got a annulus around it, but it does have a nice sense of frontier. So it could be a ringed galaxy. Be interesting to look up what its blue-violet magnitude is, its visual magnitude, get its delta, because if it's around 0.5 to 0.8, it's pure spiral. 1 magnitude delta between the two is typically a lenticular, 1.5 and greater is typically an elliptical galaxy. All of this I have learned over the last couple of years of exploring galaxies and characterizing the way they look. I do not want my camera to shut off, so I'm going to say on its own, I'm going to say Carpe Noctem. And enjoy your night skies.